The Lady with the Lamp. Florence Nightingale was a truly inspirational nurse. She was famous for her nursing work during the Crimean War, 1854 to 1856. She changed the face of nursing from a mostly untrained profession to a highly skilled and well-respected medical profession with very important responsibilities. Florence Nightingale was born in Florence, Italy on 12th May 1820. Her father was a wealthy landowner. She was brought up in Derbyshire, where she spent her summers, and Hampshire, where she spent her winters. Florence was named after the place of her birth. At that time, rich English girls such as Florence were expected to do nothing. At the time when Florence was born, many girls did not receive any type of education. Florence was very lucky because her father, William Nightingale, believed that all women should receive an education. He taught Florence and her sister a variety of subjects, ranging from science and mathematics to history and philosophy. As Florence grew up, she developed an interest in helping others. She cared for sick pets and servants whenever she had the chance. At 17 years of age, she believed she was called into service by God to do something toward lifting the load of suffering from the helpless and miserable. At first, her parents refused to allow her to become a nurse because, at that time, it was not thought to be a suitable profession for a well-educated woman. But Florence did not give up. Eventually, in 1851, her father gave his permission, and Florence went to Germany to train as a nurse. In 1853, she was running a hospital in London. In 1854, Florence Nightingale was asked to go to Turkey to manage the nursing of British soldiers wounded in the Crimean War, 1854 to 56. She traveled to Scutari, the location where the wounded and ill soldiers of the Crimean War were taken to help the wounded soldiers. She found the hospital conditions to be in a very poor state. Many of the wounded were unwashed and were sleeping in overcrowded, dirty rooms without blankets or decent food. In such conditions, diseases such as typhus, cholera, and dysentery spread quickly. As a result, the death rate amongst wounded soldiers was very high. Most soldiers died from infections and disease. Florence and her nurses changed these conditions. They set up a kitchen, fed the wounded from their own supplies, dug latrines for sanitation, and asked for help from the wives of the wounded. They were then able to properly care for the ill and wounded, and the death rate among the soldiers dropped. Florence was very dedicated to her job. She would often visit the soldiers at night when everyone was asleep, just to make sure they were all right. She was then referred to as the Lady of the Lamp because she hardly took time off to sleep. Florence became a true hero to the soldiers and everyone back home in England.